the case for our workshop. I mean, why should we even be listening for the remainder of the 8 days? We took about a day and a half. We took our own time, but uh, it must have been comprehensive. I don't think we've left out any aspect of living, knowing, or concern that we may have internally or externally that we've not addressed. Yeah, and we kind of saw that there are some things we know, there are some things we don't know. And out of the things that we know, there are some things that are true and some that are false, or maybe partial or incomplete. So in the first question that we taken up, there was why to live, which is the goal of life. So everybody knows they want to be happy, but what does happiness really mean? When we expand that, we find that it's pretty comprehensive, and it is to do with every aspect of my living. It's not one-sided. So now you don't need to be a rocket scientist to say that money cannot buy you happiness. It's evident. Yeah. It can buy you some kind of assurance. It can give you comfort and the good feeling that comes from being physically or materially comfortable. But it's not going to make me behaviorally comfortable. It's not going to make me intellectually. It's not going to make me socially comfortable. That's not going to happen. So pretty much what we've done is we've expanded the scope of happiness to include the entirety of human living or human existence. And you see by the end of 7 or 8 days that by itself it's not a small feat. People have been grappling with the issue of what is happiness, and you see so many books being written. So that was one. So that's really our goal. And when we look at the situation, what we have written in 2B back there is we have conflicts and problems in almost every aspect of our living. There are things that are going well. It's not that it's completely off. And different things seem to bother different people. But we all have these concerns. All of us have material concerns, we have behavioral concerns, we have intellectual concerns, we have some spiritual inquiry or some belief that helps us kind of explain who we are and where we came from and what we're doing. So it seems to be a human need to do that. Otherwise, you would have had religion only in one part of the world. Had it not been a common need for all humans, you would have had religious thought, let's say, in one continent. But that's not the case. At different points in time, different parts of the world, right, have popped up with these answers of who we are and what we are doing and trying to explain it. Whereas if you really, examine it, we don't need an answer to that question to be able to survive. What does it matter where you came from and if you're anyways going to die? You just have to figure out how to live on the planet. So it's very clear that these four dimensions that we have are integral to who we are as humans and that we experience something in all four of these. Okay, so that's one. And we also saw that we have problems and that the reason for the problems are twofold. One is incomplete seeing, which is called apurna darshan. Okay, and the second is belief, which is called delusion. Apurna darshan is incomplete dikra. I'm not able to see the entirety. When I see a piece of land, I feel that I should own it. I'm not able to see that it belongs to somebody else. I'm not able to see that it belongs to a larger whole, which is an ecosystem that in protecting that entire thing, I too will be protected. My future generations will be, wo sab nahi dikh raha hai. This is apurna darshan. Okay. The second is deluded seeing. We are able to see something, but it is now flawed. All right. And what is this flaw? This flaw can take up various shapes, various forms in different dimensions. So in the behavioral dimension, relationships, big pain point for all human beings. We don't know what to do with each other. I mean, we like to get together, but after some time, we don't know what to do with each other. So we don't find people who've been able to live these. There are people who've been able to kind of divorce themselves from relationships, saying, "I'm going to withdraw. I have nothing to do with the world." Especially in the Indian subcontinent, people have tried to do that, and they have been successful in doing that. Those states are called whatever they're called, and we don't need to get into that for our discussion right now. But it has been possible within consciousness to be able to get into a state where you don't feel any kind of bondage or attachment to anybody out there. So the simile that is being given here is you're like a lotus leaf on water, yeah, and the water doesn't stick to it, but it's still in the water. It sounds nice, correct? But then when you go to do it, it doesn't work. We get all stuck and muddled up. And then people have tried to explain how to get there. So that was what we saw here. So if this is my goal and this is the situation, okay, 2A is my goal. And where does that goal come from? It comes from my scene of living. This is the scene of my living. ये scenery में मैं जीता हूँ. ये मेरा picture है. This is the picture of my living. भौतिक, व्यवहारिक, बौद्धिक and आध्यात्मिक, right? Material, behavioral, intellectual and spiritual. This is who I am. This is what everybody else is. This is the scene that I live in. How do I want to be in this scene? I want to be in a state of no conflict in each one of them as much as possible. The moment there is conflict, I'm trying very hard, very quickly to resolve. Even fighting within a relationship is trying to resolve it because you're trying to solve it by fighting, by beating up each other. We're trying to get to the end of it. We're trying to finish that particular situation. So very clearly, this is something that each one of us uh, desires as humans, and you can't be divorced from this need for being in non-conflict. What is the issue? The issue is I have conflicts and problems. And what is the reason for those conflicts and problems? It's this incomplete seeing and belief. So what do I need to do? I need to see and I need to correct wrong beliefs. I need to do two things. I need to see and I need to correct my wrong beliefs. Simple. है ना इसको देख के I feel I can put him to work. Now this is the wrong belief. इसको काम पे लगाऊंगा. Now I can't be related to him. The moment I think of him as somebody that I can take advantage of, he ceases to be a source of fulfillment for me. Period. He can be a source of profit for me, but he ceases to be a source of fulfillment for me. Yeah, so I have 50 people working in my workshop. They'll help me make a lot of money, but that's not going to yield me this kind of happiness. ये जो था, the experience of feeling, yeah, what we will see as is called मूल्य मूलक आस्वादन, right? Feeling or value-based tasting, value-based experience you are not going to get it. So we can continue to accumulate this part. We can continue to accumulate money, which will finally get me things and objects. Okay, so we'll get more into that, but basically that's a small. So really, what is my plan for living? How do I live? What am I supposed to do? Very simple. I have to correct this. I have to complete the scene, and I have to, based on what I see, I have to complete or correct the incorrect beliefs that I've already picked up. Because I'm already 45, I'm already 28, I'm already 56, I'm already 78. And the longer the years, the bigger the heap. The more complex the heap, the more hard the heap. Some heaps will be very hard. Okay, because it's just who we are, and we'll get into more of that. So, this really is the plan for life, for all of us. For a small child who is growing up with the correct input, with the correct information, like if this kiddo is able to get the right input from the parents, from the school, from society, from media, from the newspapers, from the novel, then he has a very low chance of picking up incorrect beliefs. He stands a very good chance of being able to be inquisitive about the entirety from day one. So this is going to be easier for him. So he just needs to do this. He doesn't have to correct some incorrect beliefs because all the beliefs that are getting loaded are the right ones. And what are the right ones? Those that are existentially true. And how do we know they're true? We're going to see how to check that. To make sure we are all not in some new belief now. Okay, it's easy to. You've seen it, right? लोगों को बुद्धू बनाना बहुत easy. Everybody is waiting to take on something and follow something. You look around in the world, everybody is following somebody. Even the guy that says don't follow me, उसका भी एक following है. That's a psychological trick to get people to believe you, saying don't believe me. They'll say, oh, this guy is very secular, he's very rational. Let me believe him. So we don't want that. It's good to have good belief, yeah, but we want to make sure that we get it right. So this really is our plan for life. So what are we going to do? We're going to look at what is the understanding that I need to be able to accomplish this. All right. And what is that understanding going to result in? And we call that resolution. That's called comprehensive resolution. It's also called Sarvatomuki Samadhan in Hindi. Those of you like Hindi terms better, or Sanskrit terms better. Otherwise, it's called comprehensive resolution. So once I do this, I know what my plan is. This was my goal, and this is how I'm going to achieve it now, and then I have to go ahead and do it. So starting after we complete this slide deck or whatever this module, first module, which is the introduction piece, we'll then go on to see our portion for life and how to really approach it. Yeah. So this is what we've covered so far in the 1.5 days that we were together. Less than 1.5. A bit of it was introduction. Um, it's taken us about 6 hours to get here, so not much. Two Govinda movies. Govinda movies are long. 3 घंटा, 3.25 घंटा. So, any queries, anything that you would like to share, anything that you feel we've not done covered much, but anything that you feel has been clarified incrementally for you. We've had some queries from people who've done the sessions in the past, and that's okay. For that, I've had to jump, but that's okay. Yeah. When you join college, when you join first year engineering, आपको पता रहता है there are 3 more years that you don't know. That doesn't stop you from completing the course. Same thing applies here. Yeah, just take the mic because also you take the mic. Yeah. See, nobody's going to record you after this. है ना? Or me. So you might as well take the chance. शादी के बाद nobody turns the camera on you. We're all unimportant. This is our chance to be a little important. You'll be on YouTube. You'll probably get 300 views, which is good enough.
Assume a situation that a human being is happy. Like he has able to handle the 4 aspects of the life. He reached a certain level. He's happy. He's
Yeah.
joy. Then what next? It's a saturated situation, right? I don't know. I have no idea. Just assuming.
Yeah. So you're basically asking, we'll address that in 3B. What is comprehensive resolution, or if somebody is happy in all 4 dimensions, doesn't have conflict, what does that look like? We'll take that up. But basically what that means, there can be 2 ways to see it. One is there are some people who don't care. Typically children don't care. If you pick up somebody in grade 10 and you start this session like this, you think I can start the session like this for somebody 16 years old? Like a kidar, boss, spiritual, intellectual, chhod baba, let me go and play football. You know? He doesn't need all that. Where will I go? I was just born, man. Why are you talking to me about death? Let me go away. Correct? So, but there will be aspects of this that they will find useful, which we'll be covering later. There are 2 parts to what we're talking about. One is the root, the second is the fruit. In this particular workshop that I've tried to cobble together, we're talking of the root first and then the fruit. But when you're talking of children, you'll start with the fruit. And then you take them to the root based on, their inquiry. Because he too will have a fight with somebody. He'll come beaten up, black and blue, aisa bol diya, waisa bol diya, exam stress. These are the things that bother him. Yeah. Abhi problem kya hai? Girlfriend, boyfriend. So it's not that they don't have any issues. They have it. But you're basically absent-minded. So one is absent-mindedness. So people are absent-minded have less trouble. People who see less, actually ignorance is bliss. Okay? But we'll see when we look at the activities in the consciousness, and when we understand what is consciousness, we'll understand where the word Jivan Vidya, what Jivan means, is that can't last for very long. The nature of consciousness is that it is going to become incrementally aware. So till you're ignorant, you're lucky. Till you don't know there is a snake in the field, good enough. The moment you become aware of it, you can't become unaware of it. The moment you cannot stay where you are in life, you will keep growing older, the circumstances will change, the experiences will change, and it will bring a set of challenges. Some created by you, some created by people around you. Yeah, like the cause of my unhappiness can be my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, everybody else but me. Okay? And vice versa. If they're my cause for misery, then I must be a little bit cause for their misery. है ना? हो भी होगा, which I am ignorant of. And then there are other people who are making me miserable. Lalu Prasad Yadav is making me miserable. Jong Un is making me miserable. Yeah. Maybe even Einstein is. There's a lot of people to give me misery as I grow up. That's not going to change. Why is it not going to change? Because I am intricately linked in all of this. You can't pull me out of this. Not happening. इतना हो सकता है that I'm too busy in football. I'm playing football. I'm in the video game. But for how long? This will catch up. The air caught up. Everybody is playing football in Delhi. The air is caught up. Now you no longer can ignore pollution. Abhi bolo ka. Where will you breathe from? So existence has its way of catching up. It will catch up. Life will catch up. So this is one. Ignorance can lead to happiness. The second state is we get uh, intellectual understanding about all this, and then we believe I'm happy. You just believe I'm happy, but you're actually not. You're not looking at parts of you that are actually broken. There will be parts of us that are broken, but you're not looking at it. That is the second possibility. The third possibility is everything is sorted, and we'll take it up in 3B. What does that look like? It basically means that I can see everything from here and here and here and here. So I'm fully aware in all dimensions. I know the laws of being in each dimension, and that is what I desire. That is what I end up thinking, and that is what I end up doing, and nothing else happens in me. That is the state of happiness saturation, like you put it. Is that a boring state? No. Does somebody stop functioning? No, because there's plenty to do. What is there to do? You have to gather food, you have to sleep, you have to bear children, you have to take care of the senses, you'll grow old, aapka ghutna dard karega, you have to buy a phone, you have to get it repaired. Life will still be the same. You'll have a family, the kid will cry, you'll wake up at 3 a.m. You have to change the diaper, you have to wash it. Then you will go and tell it, I'll tell you what is happiness. Is that too happy? I don't want to be happy. You'll have a son who doesn't want to listen to you. You have to deal with it. So all this will still continue. So the actions in the world will continue. Our actions with the body, our actions with material things, our needing to work for material things and the body. Why do you work? For getting these things and to keep the body fit. नहीं तो काम करने की जरूरत नहीं थी. The bird works. We were here, three of us were here for our morning. We did a random set of things. There was no pranayam and all that. Everybody did whatever they wanted to do. But he said there is a hornbill there, and then he said that there is the mother is probably in the nest, and the dad has gone to get food. So udhar bhi wahi kahani hai. Udhar bhi the father has to go and fetch food. You can't run away from that. I mean, if the bird is doing it, we'll have to do it. हमको तो ज़्यादा, we need variety. You can't eat the same worm every day. वो तो वही कीड़ा खाता है ना. We've not had a single meal that has been repeated since we came. Not one dish has been repeated so far. Let's see how long they're able to sustain it. But so this will still continue. So activity will continue, but awareness will stay. This is where we live. This is living. Remember, we have written living here. This you live here, you live here. You live with family, you live with society. Exactly. The show will go on. This show is going to go on. Even the guy who says कि मैं इससे मुक्त हो गया, he's still talking. So he needs the body to talk. And he's going and telling somebody in society, ये माया है. We are trying to figure out how to be in this. You don't have to create it. It's anyways happening. Whether you like it or not, you will feel hungry. You will feel thirsty. If you eat and you drink, you will need a toilet. That's a natural law. You can't say मैं पानी पीऊंगा पेशाब नहीं करूंगा आएगा. So then you will need a toilet which will get spoiled. उसका चूना लगाना पड़ेगा. So you will have to work to get chuna and paint the toilet. ये fixed है. And 99% chances are you will get married. If you get married, you have to try very hard to not have babies. Very hard. Okay. वो हो ही जाता है. And many a times people will have second thoughts, which is why so much of IVF is cropping up in Pune, Bangalore. While everybody became a hero, मैं तो बाहर में रहूंगा. I still need to be spend time in the bar. I'll not have a baby. Now when you want to have a baby, this baby will not happen. In vitro, right, or in vivo, one of the two. In vivo का मतलब body में, in vitro का मतलब tube में. Test tube baby बोलते हैं. Actually fertilization tube में करके they put it inside. So, and even if you don't marry, there will be people that you are born to. You have to figure out what. Even if you leave those people, you'll go stay with some other people who is not your family. You take any human being who has been a sannyasi, who is becoming a sannyasi even today. Sannyas parampara. So in Buddhism, in Vedantic thought, in the other, what do? They basically say you're going to give up family. So once you give up family, the number of things that you need, the work that you need automatically comes down to a bare minimum. Okay. Then you say, I will mix all the food in a bowl and eat it. So you made that also simplified. All these five senses, you brought it into one bowl. Okay. But then you need a sangha to go live in. You go live with some more people. Now you have to figure out what to do. Then you don't like the neighboring sannyasi. Now what will you do? You left all those people because they are a cause of bondage, but you don't like this idiot who's come from somewhere else who, you just don't like the guy. Or now you're suddenly getting jealous that he's getting nirvana before me. Now so you can't run away. You can't run away from society. And even if I do, I go up into the cave and I stay there. And then what do? I come back to the world and tell them this is what I found. We are living for mukti. Yeah. So what is mukti? Mukti is, so if you see mukti, what is mukti? Mukti is freedom, right? Liberation. So we have two options. One, liberation from life or living, liberation from bondage. And so this is option A. And then you have option B, which is liberation from incomplete or wrong belief, and liberation from wrong association. How? By right association. How? By right knowledge. Which of the two would you prefer? You and I, forget our grandmothers, they're already gone. And on their way out if they're not gone. Which of the two would you prefer, A or B? Which makes more sense? Preference and what makes more sense? B. And you see, all of nature is actually in B. Because I don't know what to do with you, you can't use something and say that it's not a perpetual machine. People try to get perpetual energy and all. That doesn't work. Doesn't work. So what happened is, so one is I want to be free of the cycle of life and death. Okay. In order to do that, I want to, and plus I want to get rid of. So life itself is a bondage. Everything that life brings, parents, family, the body, starting with the body, the nation state, everything is a bondage. So from this, I want to get into another state of being. This has been one view. All right. इसके अंदर there are many more views. All right. I mean, whether you exist or not after you go. After you go, then what exists? What is it called? What does it look like? Then somebody said nothing exists. Okay. So then usme the liberation, that was called Nibbana. Nibbana ke matlab is Nirvana. Nirvana became Nibbana in Pali. Then nothing will exist. Alright, so this is one option. The other option is you're not able to see the entirety, so you see the entirety. When you see the entirety, you see the purpose of everything else. You see the purpose of the body, you see the purpose of the mind, you see the purpose of the family, you see the purpose of human tradition, you see the purpose of the planet, you see the purpose of nature, and you figure out how to be with it. And you stay in it. Alright? Till when? Till the body decays. And you see that the body is going to decay. Which is why we take life insurance. I mean, otherwise you didn't need it. It's going to decay just like plants. They're not like stones that will be there forever. Diamonds are forever, but you will die. Diamonds forever बोल के बेचता, अबे मैं तो मरने वाला, तो who the hell is going to keep it after me? कुछ भी बेचेंगे ना. So this is what we'll get to. We will see what complete seeing means. Right now we have our syllabus. We are deciding our playground. By the time we hit T today, we'll know what our playground looks like. We'll look at our football field. We'll know where the goalposts are. We'll know where the cheerleaders are. We'll know everybody. From wrong, yeah. So the idea is not to divorce yourself from association. So here, what you're doing is, here the assumption is association equal to bondage. ऐसा हो गया. Any association is bondage because it's going to create trouble for you. So you get rid of it. Okay? Because this is a corollary. If you have life, there will be association. If you have life means where does it start? It starts with birth. So you have the body. If you have the body, what's going to happen? There is going to be pain. There is birth pain. There is death pain. There is the pain of growing old. There is the pain of seeing other people grow old. There is the pain of seeing poverty. I don't want to see all this poverty. I don't want to see all this pain. So the world is dukkha. So I will be free of it. So what do? I do whatever is in the scriptures, and I then am able to get into a state where all this doesn't matter. That's mukti. Mukti from what? Freedom from bondage. There are two words, mukti and the other one is moksha. Okay. Then you say moksha. So if you take actually moksha, what does moksha mean? So what are we saying? Mukti is freedom from wrongful association, and moksha is equal to correct perception or freedom from illusion or delusion or incomplete seeing. Sorry? It is equal to right understanding. Oh yeah, English word right understanding. Actually, understanding has to be right, otherwise it is not understanding. It is nonsense. Right understanding is actually an oxymoron. I mean, it's a redundant sentence, not an oxymoron. But it has to be right. Now, what is the meaning of wrong understanding? You just got it wrong. Yeah, there's no understanding. It's a belief. Huh? Huh? Really? You have to run the same show. Yeah, because you'll take on responsibility and you'll feel like doing it. There is joy in doing it. If you have a child sitting there, then there is joy in playing with the child. Why is it a cause for bondage? Why do you want to get rid of your association with it? It becomes a burden when you don't know what to do with it. It means you don't know. Or my imagination of what needs to be done itself is flawed or partial. Yeah, and it's not within the scope of our current setting, but we can discuss those. There have been so many states. People talk of these states. This country has been full of people who go into those states. Everywhere, every state has one. Kerala has one, had one. What's his name? I forget. Anyways, Adi Shankara was from Kerala, the first Shankara. I'll tell you what, Swami. Huh? No, no, no. Anyways, I forget. He comes from Tiruvannamalai. There was somebody there. His name was Ramana. So that's the preaching that everybody has given so far. And we'll see why we are taking a shift. And we have to decide. See, I'm not going to try and convince you don't become mukt and don't try. If you want to get rid of bondage, do that, all the best. Yeah, but it's going to be very hard. The desire to get rid of desire itself is a desire. Now you have one desire that is negating all the other desires. Very difficult. I'm not saying people have not done it. They've done it, but it is extremely difficult. Just not possible. Nice. So we warmed up for the morning. So we had why do I live? We now have more clarity on the answer to our first question. All right. So the first question is I want comprehensive happiness in all aspects of my living. What does that lead to? That leads to something called resolution. So I'm resolved in all aspects. I'm resolved to the material thing. I don't see it as bondage. I don't see it as a pain. I'm not incomplete with it. I'm resolved in the domain of relationship, in the domain of behavior. I don't see it as a problem. I am resolved in the domain of society. I'm able to see all human beings for who they are, for what they are. I'm able to see reality for what it is. Okay, so this is called a state of resolution. We'll explore that a little more. And so, what really is my goal of living is what does it say? My goal of living is okay equal to my goal of living equal to my desire. Yeah, right. So why do I live is really my goal of living. That's my fundamental desire to achieve this state as much as I can. Maybe one at a time. Maybe if all of it is seeming too daunting, pick it up one at a time. I mean, figure out how to deal with the father, then the mother, then the brother. Ek ek karke, na. When we expand the family, we'll see there are about 4 or 5 relationships that are integral to family. There are some that are outside. And then there is human society. There's always somebody somewhere that we don't like. So all of that. So resolving all of that. So how do I live? What is the way of living so I may fulfill this desire? Then I need to have comprehensive resolution. Okay, so I want to live with comprehensive resolution. This is how I want to live. And what does that need? That needs comprehensive understanding. Okay, so I want happiness. Being happy means being comprehensively resolved. If I want to be comprehensively resolved, I need to understand. This is my plan for life. अभी भी वही कर रहे हैं. We're putting the kids to school because we feel they have to understand something. The subjects that we thought of that they need to understand are sometimes incorrect and sometimes incomplete. इतना ही है. नहीं तो why would children need education? They have to learn from somewhere. I mean, if the wild pig has to learn from its father, the human child definitely has to learn from its parents and from the people around it. And it needs some structured and some unstructured input, right? It's just that today we assume that we need to teach it whatever, physics, chemistry, biology, Shivaji Maharaj, Jhansi Ki Rani, where the rivers flow, Indus Valley civilization, civics, history. So if you see the content it's not like completely wrong. It's partial. The way of teaching can be a problem. It's rote. So you learn moral science. I'll be a good boy, I'll be a good boy, I'll be a good boy. And yeah, civics may, you talk of the Indian constitution because you will need the Indian constitution when you come out. You have to learn civic sense that you don't spit outside the bus, that you don't break the, signal on the road, that you don't turn on the lights at 4 a.m. and other people sleeping in the same coach. This is all civic sense. As human beings, we have to know how to be with each other. So you need civics. So the identification of the subject is not a problem. Maybe the content and the way it's being taught. The objective with which it is being taught, that is gone haywire. We forgot the object. We actually don't know the object. We're just trying to put it together. It's just a collage. Our current education content is just a collage of many people who thought many things. And finally, with the advent of industry and the need to survive, not just survive, yeah, because we can easily survive without jobs. Today in this country, nobody will let you die. True or false? आपको कोई मरने नहीं देगा. It will make news. Let's say you starve to death in Bangalore. Some minister will have to resign. We can't let you die because the people will not let them live. Okay. Yeah. And if you try to kill yourself and you fail, they'll put you in jail because that's a gunah. It's a crime. You can't kill yourself. You can't take your own life. So we so it's not so easy to die. So we're not being educated just to survive. You can anyway survive. People have been surviving in this village from before the schools came, and it's been very old, 4,000, 5,000 years in the same land, growing other things, maybe eating less. I'm sure they were shorter and skinnier. Indians have all become big, 6 feet, 6.5 feet, 80 kilo, 100 kilo, 110 kilo. Utna khana hi nahi tha pehle. You could not have reached 100 kilos. There wasn't enough food. There was enough food to get you to 50, 52 and stop. Right? So, education today is for this. So, you get a job because family and this living and the things that you need some kind of monetary input. And in order to be able to get monetary input, you need to give some kind of useful output to society. So you basically study in school, go back to society and do what society needs. Whatever, like you're doing testing, he's doing education, I did something else, he tried to make instruments. Something that society needs for its various arms, that somebody is willing to pay for. He worked on railways, he helped us get, he helped me when I was traveling. My grandfather was a station master. He helped a lot of people reach their destination. So they're all trying to help each other to get that money. And the problem with this is that we ended up thinking that easy se pura ho jayega. That's it. So the purpose of civics is no longer to help you live in society, but to be able to pass that entrance exam and get a job. So the destination has got muddled. Number one. Number two, some essential aspects are missing. Talk of the self, because nobody knows. We can't blame them. They did what they knew. Because if you take our conventional text, वो बोलेगा you don't need any of this. ये सब तो माया है अभी गया. So you don't need education. Education is to tell you that the things around you are bondage. That is mukti. We've had two kinds of education, right? One is called, we'll see that. One is called spiritual education. So basically, what does spiritual education mean, or only spiritual pursuit mean? It means that anything material, including the body, and if is transient and hence not worth getting into. So once you make the body transient, everybody else is also transient because they too are with the body. कोई भूत से तो हम बात नहीं करेंगे ना. You won't be talking to bhutas and pretas, right? You have to talk to people. You'll be living with people that you can see, feel, touch. Okay? So once I negate all of this, what is left? These two are left. Then I say all this is loaded inside here. So I get rid of this also. Ye bach gaya. This is spirit. So spirit, the word spirit comes from what is not matter. अभी दारू को भी spirit बोलते हैं, है ना? Spirit, alcohol is also called spirit. Then they also say he is in good spirit. English is a ruddy language. No, because daru pi ke somebody feels good, so then he is high spirit and he is very joyous because there is old monk in his stomach. Once it comes off, he'll become unjoyous. Okay, so we'll also understand what these terms mean. What does spiritual mean? What does material mean? And all that. So this becomes my plan for life. And what will be our constituents of understanding? So again, it's just a recap. I don't think I have to spend much time here. Our happiness depends and arises from these four aspects. We have or face problems in all of them. And as an extension, the same is evident in society, nation, and the world. So who is society? Society is about 20 lakh people who have the same set of problems in all their four dimensions. Hence, you'll see problems in society in all aspects. You'll have intellectual problems, spiritual problem, material problem, behavioral problem in society. Because it is getting projected from those individuals who have problems, right? It's not something abstract. It's just these people who live together, we create a mess for each other. So you see that these problems are due to ignoring an incomplete. It is thus evident that our understanding shall have to address or encompass all these aspects. So this really is the consequence of understanding. So if you look at it, let us now wade into what this understanding comprises of. Huh? So first question, where do we need this understanding or wisdom? I need it in myself, not in the computer, not in an AI chatbot. It has to be inside me, not in the textbook. Writing about wisdom in a textbook is not going to make me wise. It's an expression of what I already have. Number one. Okay. Who lives? I live. Who becomes happy or sad? I do. Who has incomplete or complete views or beliefs? I do. Who has assumptions or conditioning? I do. Who has to understand? I have to. So first conclusion, I have to study myself, human being. First, this is the central part of human education. Yeah, the central fulcrum of human education is the human being, not sparrows and dogs and amoebas and Shivaji Maharaj. Myself. That's one. Second, who do I live with? Other humans. They impact me and vice versa. I impact them, they impact me. So in order to understand them, I have to study my relationship with all of them. Yeah. So I have to understand the people in my family, whether I'm married or not. And kutumba. Kutumba is a word we don't have in English. Basically, extended family. I have to understand what happens in society and why. So I have to study relationship with humans in family and society. The second part that I have to study that we already, have seen. I live with people on this earth, the rivers, soils, and all that. So I have to study my relationship with nature. As a human being, I cannot imagine my existence, in a vacuum. Because if there is a body, it needs to breathe. If it needs to breathe, it needs oxygen. It needs nourishment, just like a plant, like a beetle, like a cockroach. Everybody is nourishing themselves. So I need to nourish myself. So the body needs some input. Correct? Where's that going to come from? It's going to come from nature. So I need nature. So I have to understand my relationship with nature. Material dimension, we've already covered that before. And how did all this come to be? What is the fundamental nature of everything? If there is a creator and director, one is there someone or not? If there is someone, is it male, female? Does it have form? Does it have formless? Is it one form, many forms? Is it your form, my form? Everybody's form. So these questions also. So what we'll do is we'll bundle up. If there is anything left over, we will consider it in the study of existence. So these are the four things we have to study. I have to study myself. I have to study relationships in family and society. I have to study my relationship with nature. I have to study existence, all that exists. This is my syllabus for life. This is my plan for life. This is what I need to do to be able to, get to where I want to get to. Good enough? Now, if you look at those four dimensions, you want to try mapping those four dimensions with these four aspects of understanding. You want to give it a try? I have to understand myself. What dimension of myself is it? I have to, because all four are within me. I have to understand, study relationship with other humans. Behavioral dimension. I have to think about them, plus I have to do it with them. मैं आपके बारे में बहुत अच्छा सोचा है, very good thoughts for you. The moment you come in front of me, I don't know what to do with you. Not going to work. I have to also implement it. I have great love and affection for all humans, except this man who's in front of me. It doesn't work. You have to do it. You have to deliver. I have to study relationship with nature, material. The first object of nature that I have is the body. Okay, we'll get to that in a bit. In fact, it's an interesting question to ask. Did you make your own body? How many of us have made our own bodies, made our own self? I created myself. ऐसा कोई है? No. Where was the body created? नेचर में नहीं, मदर्स वूम. ऐसा थोड़ी ना. Under the people tree, in the mother's womb. Did the mother create the body? No. Even if the mother wants, she cannot stop it. It has to be stopped only chemically. And उसका भी एक period है, उसके बाद नहीं रुकता है. Okay? You have all these debates in the Supreme Court, 24 weeks, 26 weeks, 32 weeks. We'll also solve that. So what's happening? The pani puri, bhel puri, chai, masal puri that the mother is eating becomes the limbs and bones and eyes of the baby. It's converted inside the body. The mother is only eating. What is she eating? The mother in Uttarakhand is eating Rajma Chawal. Here she's eating Anna Saro. But the body has the same anatomy. Irrespective of what you eat. You're vegetarian, non-vegetarian. आँख दो ही रहेगा. Two eyes. ऐसा नहीं कि your mother was non-veg, he had an extra eye, additional kidney. It's not happening. It's natural. Doesn't happen, right? Poor mother. एक kidney नहीं है क्यों? You're below poverty line. Doesn't happen. So if you look at anything natural, it is not, subjugated to any man-made construct. Anything natural is happening irrespective of our man-made construct or division. Males cannot give birth to a baby. कुछ भी कर लो. Yeah, there was a news item yesterday. I saw the news for about 8 minutes. In Bangalore, there was this girl who liked another girl, wanted to marry that girl. So girl 1 said, I'll only marry a boy. So girl 2 became a boy to marry girl 1. Okay. Then girl 1 said, I cannot marry you, I want to marry a real boy. So ex girl 2, which was boy 1, killed girl 1. That was the news. काट दिया, जला दिया, कुछ किया in Bangalore. Okay. So we are not creating our own body. So I have to study all of existence. What is all of existence? Intellectual and spiritual. Why will I study it? First, using my intellect, using my spiritual aspect. Because I have to study it. The same thing in a different view. So far, so good. Anything you want to add to the syllabus of understanding? You think that is missing? Mike. I think in the future they'll have like smart devices. You can put here, it will be voice activated. So if you say so, it will turn on your input and turn off everybody else's. They'll call it AI. AI mic. हो जाएगा. I think probably it will be the 30-40 years from now. Yeah. 20. Yeah. 5 साल.
Conclusion 3rd and conclusion 4th is relationship with nature and really have to study existence, all that exists. When we have said nature, it is all that exists.
Nature is a part of existence. People are family and society is also part of existence. Then we see that I too am a part of existence. So when you're looking at existence, we are considering those aspects beyond this planet, because when we think of nature, we only think of this planet, not of Mars and Pluto. The existence would include Mars, Pluto, and all the empty space between us and Mars and Pluto. Anything else that is left, wormholes, black holes, and all that also. Okay? Because that will help us understand how we arrived there. I mean, was it a big bang? Was it a big blast? Was it an implosion, explosion? Yeah. Did we come out of somebody's stomach? Did somebody spit us out? There's so many views. Alright? You want to delete anything from this? You feel this is optional? ये extra आ गया. I can do without this also. Nothing? So this is the necessary and sufficient syllabus for understanding. Very simple. For education, for any human being. The necessary and sufficient syllabus. Agreed? So we'll proceed. So you can see that these four aspects of understanding or realities, they can't be separated from each other. I cannot be separated from a family, which in turn cannot be separated from society, and all these cannot be separated from nature, which cannot be separated from space and the various galaxies in the entire universe or the multiverse. It's not separable. You can't walk out. So this whole notion of mukti has to be, I mean, where will you go? You have to go to another galaxy. If you don't like the Milky Way galaxy, you have to go to some other galaxy. You have to go somewhere. You can't go nowhere. नहीं, मुक्ति होके किधर जाएगा? Go to the moon, go to Pluto, huh? Go to Pluto, climb up the people tree. I won't come down. मैं मुक्ति हो गया. That's also a possibility. No? I died. My atma went up to the tree. It will not come down now. They can't be separated. They are inseparable, and we call this coexistence. This is called Sahastitva. So, in the very large scheme of things, this is coexistence, where everything is together and inseparable. So, even if I decide to not be born, and for a moment let's assume that something called I still exists even after I die, which that is a question. Where will I go? I will have to be somewhere on this planet. I have only choices. I will not come back and take birth. That's one option. Other option is I leave this planet, I go to some other planet. I don't like this galaxy, I go to some other galaxy. I don't like this universe, I go to some other multiverse. But it has to be in existence. That's contradictory to death. So we have to understand what is death. What dies? Nothing dies. If this is true, if these things are true, then nothing dies. What dies? Then the body dies. Then what is left after the body dies? We'll get the day after tomorrow. Okay? If at all something is left, and you don't have to choose. I mean, you can always choose, I don't want to exist after my body is gone. That's your choice. Who can take that away from you? But let's say you want to exist and I want to stay on after we're dead. I can try. No? How can you force somebody to be present after they're gone when they don't want to? That's one. Yeah. Of course, then you also have to consider what's real, because both cannot be true at the same time. That's the fun with truth. It can only be one. Yeah. You have to meet some conditions. Yeah, it's possible. Okay. So, put together, we call these entireties coexistence. So, to study and understand, you're not going to be able to understand it without studying it. You just stare at coexistence and you think you'll understand, you think that'll happen. I want to understand nature and I keep staring at the field and the plants and the animals. You think it'll help me understand? No. It'll feel nice and I'll go back to square one. I have to apply myself. So understanding is a basic fundamental need for us humans. Okay. So this is when we'll have resolution in all the aspects, and we've been able to do that. You remember that slide in which I had put down what has gone well so far. Not everything has gone wrong. We've been able to figure out physical laws. We as a human being. You and I were eating vada. We didn't do anything. But others, the Europeans did, and all of us benefited. Indians are busy trying to figure out how to make udad vada, sambar vada, how to put the sambar, how to put the chutney. They keep blaming others, saying, he came and subjugated me. Nobody prevented you from understanding physics. Could have run off into Davangere. No, there was no Britisher in Davangere. We could have gone there and done it. He was busy trying to figure out Benne dosa. There's a place called Davangere here. You get it even in Pune now. That Benne dosa. You came from Davangere, no? Yeah, but that's besides the point. But yeah, really, this, so we've been able to understand physical laws. We don't understand behavioral laws. So what have we understood? We've understood how nature operates better. We've been able to classify matter into all the elements, the periodic table. We've been able to classify all the plant species. You go and type any plant species now into the internet, it'll tell you what it is and what it is not. You don't even have to do that. You just have to point your phone at it, the lens brings it up and gives you the information. Okay. We've been able to figure out how to rear animals, how to do dairy farming. Again, we've gone overboard there. Everybody blames the Jersey cow, poor thing, but people don't like Jersey cows. It must be one of the most hated things on in India right now. Everybody dislikes a Jersey cow. I feel bad for those cows. Yeah, but everybody is having it. We'll come to cows later. Okay. So we figured this out. We figured the human body, anatomy, physiology, medicine, emergency medicine, yes, Abba. Everything material we've been able to figure out. We figured out how to make this microphone, how to get that projector to work, how to fly. But what have we not figured out? Where to go. I can fly, but where do I go? For what? What do I do with the guy sitting next to me? This I have not figured out. I don't know why I'm going there. Finally, I'm going there for business. Yeah. So that's what happened. Finally, I'm going there to give a lecture. They'll pay me 500 rupees for this spiritual lecture. 50,000 rupees if I wait for 3 days. 75,000 if I tell them about Ananda. 65,000 for Santosh. 45,000 for Shanti. 18,000 rupees for each kind of sukh. Everything is sold. So finally, everything has become monetary. Yeah. So this is what we need to understand very clearly. So if you look at it, if you look at the first aspect of living, the material aspect, what do I need to do? I need to understand nature, why it is, and how is it. Science is working on, has worked on how nature is. Modern science, we use those tools. Okay, how to modify nature, how to put iron together and make it into a nice boiler that will keep heat in very efficiently. We've been able to do that. But why does nature exist is a domain for religion. So science does not deal with that. What is my relationship with nature is a question that we have to understand from the human centric point of view. Okay? Same thing, we are just opening it up. You'll see that we don't go very far away from our syllabus. In the behavioral, I have to understand my relationship with humans, to understand family, why does family exist and how is family by itself. Why should you be in a family? What purpose does it solve? And similarly, understand society. Why does society exist and how? Why and how of society? And, and the intellectual side, why am I and how am I? Why do I exist? And how am I made? Why do I get angry? When I get angry, what happens? Where do I get angry? And in the spiritual dimension again, why does reality even exist? Why does anything exist? Why does the universe exist? Why does the Milky Way exist? Okay. How did we come to be in all of it? How is reality? So again, the same syllabus in a different view. You can choose whatever view you like. Okay. So this really becomes the things that we need to do, and yeah. Now I'll go back. Where do we start? ये syllabus है. Where do we start? Take your pick. Start from I start from myself and then so to understand this, let's do a small thought experiment. I came up with this uh, thought came up. It occurred to me. When you say I came up, it feels like I made it. It just occurred to me one day, many years ago. But it's a nice thought experiment. I've done it a few times. Let's do a small thought experiment. You wake up, you go to sleep tonight, you wake up in the morning, all right, and you find that you're on a new planet. You just wake up from sleep and you find you are on a completely new planet. What will you do? What are the things that will come to your mind? How can I interact with the new planet? Why here? Yeah. How did I come here? Yeah. Why and how? my role. Yeah. बैंक बैलेंस पीछे रह गया. अबे सारा बैंक बैलेंस उधर. You brought me, you idiot. You didn't bring my bank. Like what happened to Gauri and me and our bank locker, right? So you moved cities, you forgot to move the locker with you. Gaya. So how will I survive? Yeah, and by the way, your mother-in-law was left behind, all right? She's in the old planet. So one problem is solved. Father-in-law, mother-in-law. Yeah. So that's one less problem to deal with. Yeah. Anything else? What else? What should I do? Do what? Do what? Eat. Anybody to talk to? Is there anybody out there? Yeah. And if there is somebody to talk to, how do I interact with them? Yeah. And so on. If we try and just club, it's very interesting. I've done it like a few times, and the answers are always the same. Okay, it is the same answer, and I think I did this for the first time in 2008, maybe 3 or 4 times after that. The first thing that we are really looking at is why am I here and how did I get here? So I'm really talking of understanding myself. What are the constituents of this planet? Okay, is really I have to understand everything else but me. And the third is how do I live with everything else? How do I survive or go back? So go back is also part of everything else. And how do I survive? What do I do? So what is my relationship with people? What is my relationship with the things there? How do I survive? If there is a polar bear, what is my relationship with it? Okay, is there anyone to talk to? So again, you're looking at relationship. So these are the three things. These are the three kinds of understanding that we need that encompasses all of this. If we try to club all of this into just 3 blocks, all right, this is what we end up with. Number one, what is the conclusion? I have to understand myself. Number two, I have to understand existence, which is what we said was everything else. And I have to understand my relationship or my conduct with everything else. Barabar? On this new planet. Agree? Disagree? Abstain. That's another. If you're sleepy or abstaining. I don't care. Let me go back. Agree, disagree, or abstain? Agree. Now let's assume this is not a new planet, it is this planet. Are these questions still valid? Yeah. The same questions are still valid on this planet also. Right? We've not bothered to ask these questions. And if they come, then there is somewhere at the background because there's always something to do. There is schooling and there's the fees, there's the EMI, and then there are these all these people that I have to deal with. So there's a clutter. And I can't like get out of the clutter to really ask these questions. And if I ask these questions, one guy says all this is, I don't know, somebody may say it's Maya, you have to get out of it, you don't have to understand. And then there's so many theories, you don't know which one to pick. Yeah, which is the right ladder to heaven. Everybody is given a ladder. 50 है ना. स्वर्ग जाने के रास्ते बहुत सारे. Too many ways to heaven. Now which heaven? Whose heaven? Yours or mine? Very difficult. So we have to still the same questions even when we're here. So if you look at this entire thing, the same thing. If you look at it from the aspect of living, this is what it looks like. These four aspects of living that I wanted to understand encompass all of this. Okay. Another way to look at it is I understand myself, I understand everything else, and I understand my relationship with everything else. When I look at the relationship, there are two kinds of relationships. There's behavioral and material relationship. I split behavioral, I get people and family and society. I take material, I have nature and understanding nature. So is that clear? Understanding myself, understanding everything else, and understanding. So so the order of understanding for resolution, this is what we're going to do. This is the knowledge that is needed. I have to understand myself, I will understand existence, and I will understand my relationship for living with. Understanding का मतलब क्या है? Understanding the fundamental aspect. Understanding myself doesn't mean counting the number of hair on my feet, the shape of my teeth. I won't be able to understand myself better. What is my essential true nature? What is the true essential nature of existence? Yeah. Is nature, basically in struggle? Is it in chaos, or is the answer something else? Is it even possible to live with people? That's what we want to understand. Okay, because it has a direct impact on our aspects of living. So again, we use, so these are our aspects of living. So that is the knowledge to be gained. Okay, and this knowledge corresponds to some aspect of my living. ये समझ में आता है? You can do the math. Math is what? The correlation. छोटे बच्चे करते हैं ना? Join the likes. You see the little kids? There'll be plants, animals, and things and stones, and then they have to do this crisscross. Okay, so this is a little puzzle for you to solve. And these are the spheres of human living. That's the shivir that you did. The third one. Individual, self, body, family, society, nature, existence. इसका hodgepodge होगा. Okay. So this is who I am. This is what I need to understand. I will understand these things, this knowledge, using these faculties in me, I will understand these things. So the first thing I have to understand is myself. क्योंकि यदि मैं ही नहीं हूँ, if I myself don't exist, then the problem is solved. Right? If I say I am a mirage, then this whole jhanjat is gone. You can go home and I can go home. The problem starts when you exist. Now what do you do? Was it accidental? Does it have meaning? Does it have purpose? Etc. Okay. And these are the spheres of my living. So using these aspects, or with these aspects, I have this knowledge. I implement it in my different aspects of living. When I do that, I live as an individual. Then I live in family. I live in society. I live in nation. This is my sphere of living. So the entire scenery of living looks like this. Human being का जो picture है, looks like this. Yeah, the scenery of living. So this is the knowledge. This is how we're going to take the workshop forward. We'll understand ourselves, then we'll go to existence, and then we'll look at relationship. Why? Because if these two are not clear, then this two is not going to be very clear. It will seem very forced. If the nature of the relationship itself is to attack the human, then there is no point trying to go against that nature. For example, a tiger, when it sees you and it's hungry, is most likely to attack you and eat you. So it's a good idea not to keep one in your backyard. No? So the nature of it. So similarly, if the nature of my father or mother-in-law and sister-in-law is fundamentally to, oppress me, then I'm better off staying away from them. Just like from the tiger. If the nature of Pakistan by nature is like a jackal, which is going to use cunning to attack me, we might as well bomb them out of existence. Simple. But if the nature turns out to be something else, and we find that our assumption about our belief, correct, our approach to that particular relationship has gone off, then we can try and correct it. So we first have to figure out what the nature of existence is, how things are. Fair enough? I'll stop talking. Either we can talk or we can listen to the wind. Or you can think. Give a small pause. No query. So is this worth getting into? We have 8 days and we are not bound to talk or do something for all the 8 days. We can all decide to go to Dandeli. There's a nice river, there's river rafting, you know, there's rappelling and all that. We can do that and go home. Dandeli is a nice, some of you must know, is a very beautiful tourist destination. Just about 2-3 hours from here. Hmm? You go there, इसको रहने देते हैं ना. This we can keep this for some other day. Huh? Dandeli, Dandeli. The Kali River is very beautiful. The interesting thing about the river is it almost goes to the brim through the year. The Kali River, हमेशा पानी रहता है उसमें, and tourist hotspots. I'm assuming it will be very crowded now, New Year के लिए तो. Yesterday in the news they said that Himachal Pradesh, the road going to Kulu and Manali had a 6-hour jam because all of Delhi and Punjab reached there for Christmas and New Year. इंडिया में इतना भीड़ हो गया है, you can't go anywhere. We all have to take mukti and come back in 2050. You know why? Because the stats say, the statistics say, it's after 2050 that a country's population is going to start coming down. Between now and 50, we are going to face the brunt of it, you and I. The rest of them will be gone. Another 30 years. Our children will see the peak when my daughter is like 38, she's going to see people everywhere. She's going to look to see मैं कहाँ जाके रहूँ. There are too many Indians everywhere. Huh? With too many theories, like you said, argumentative Indian. Who said there's too many people? You know, India has had so many theories. सबके पास एक theory है. Everybody has a way of navigating the road. They won't go by what the signal says. He'll decide when he leaves the signal and not according to the signal. So it's not walkable. Yeah, you'll have to take a taxi and get it. 60 kilometers. Buses are there. The road, we are right on the way to Dandeli. So the scenery is also very beautiful. There's a nice park and yeah. Karnataka towards the Sayadris is very beautiful. I've seen some of the best rainforests in Karnataka. We had gone near somewhere near Gokarna, but not Gokarna itself. I forget. You know, this side. What was it? Yana Caves. The name of the place was Yana Caves. The summer near Sirsi, Honavar, that area. Yeah, very beautiful. Those trees. एक मैंने पेड़ देखा, such a big trunk, such a मजा आ गया उसको देख. I went and hugged it. It's this big. I mean that somebody let it be there for so long, you know, in our country. They didn't chop it up and make it into like chair or table or something. इतना बड़ा था, massive. Yama Caves is worth visiting. That whole area. Of course, whenever tourists, it's not fun. They're all eating and talking all the time. They're not listening. The people are talking all the time or eating something. Come, खा रहे हैं, बात कर रहे हैं. You come somewhere to see, and you know what? They're trying to see the Black Panther. You think that Black Panther is going to come around you when you're talking so much. I said idiot a few times yesterday. My wife said, don't keep saying idiot and stupid. I said, oh, I'll stop myself now. You keep talking all the time. Why will the Black Panther even come close to you? Okay, so I'll take the silence as assent. परमिशन आज से है, 8 days लीव है, all the 8 days are a vacation. मेरे को क्या है परमिशन? I already know what's going to come. Yeah, I mean, so this is the scene of human living. Yeah, so Dandeli is also inside this. Yeah. Why you want to go to Dandeli is also inside this. I already don't think that we'll be able to. We're still. I've already taken additional content that people typically do not cover in the 7 days. We'll see whether we can. It's the first time I'm trying it out. I wrote it in a book, but the first time I'm really trying it out. Um, so where is our attention today? I'll just let you read that. I think we've gone over it enough number of times. Okay, this is pretty clear by now. We don't have to. Um, so in the last I've written, there are some cases of social contribution, environmental action, and spiritual pursuits, but they don't bring everything together. एक को पकड़ा तो दूसरा छूटता है. You try to go and help society, family छूट गया. You stay in family, material छूट गया. You do material, family छूट गया. You try to go intellectual, people say पागल हो गया. You become spiritual, they'll say हो गया. You know, when I quit my job the first time, my dad was very scared. He thought I'm going to go join the Ramakrishna Math, become a sannyasi. Because some of my cousins have done that in the past. Every generation would one guy would walk away and go into Ramakrishna mission. I told my father, I don't want to do that, but I want to figure out things. I can't keep doing this. I'll die in that IT office. I used to hate going there with that kutte ka billa, with identity tag. I had to swipe. Come on, I mean, I was so they that particular company that I worked in, they would take part of our salary and towards food. So you got very good breakfast and lunch and evening snacks and excellent coffee. Not this pre-mixed coffee, but nice freshly ground and all that. And but the thing is, so you had to have had your breakfast between 8:30 and 9, between 8 and 9, because 9 o'clock office was. And I would only get hungry at 10 o'clock. And I said, he mera paisa le raha, but he's not letting me eat when I'm hungry. I mean, how can you do that? You are subtracting money from my income, but you're not letting me eat when I'm hungry. I don't want to work here. So I walked out. Okay. So we see some cases of all this. We see some cases. See, it is erroneous to say that all of us are focused only on the material dimension. There are some people who are studying the material dimension and are very passionate about it. Physicists, scientists. Okay. They may or may not care for money. There are some who still care for money, some who will not. Then there are some, majority of the people are in the material dimension as consumers. All of us are consumers of what science and technology provides us. Yeah. And then we try and accumulate. So that is a vast majority of people. Find there, Chitakke, you will find some people trying to do social contribution. There are some people who are into environmental action, nature ke saath try karte hain. Or they've had enough of this city life and they go back and say, I'll become Tarzan again. I've seen people like that. I'll become Tarzan. Basically be free of the shackles of technology and, I'll not keep a phone, I won't use electricity. Some people have tried and then there are some people who try to do spiritual pursuits, part-time, full-time. Then you have to choose which path to take. Vedanta लेंगे, Buddhism लेंगे, है ना. आज के दिन यही दोनों बचा है. Everything else is gone, blown away. The predominant thread is Advaita Vedanta or some forms of Buddhism in India, Theravada or some Tibetan Buddhism. And they all have their own paths and their own answers for all this. You see that in society. When you go out, that's what you see. Are there more people living inside Ramakrishna Mission or more people visiting it on Sunday and taking prasad? Laddu and halwa. And if you ask him कैसा था उसका हलवा बहुत अच्छा है. All Tirupati is famous, and you know what? They don't give the formula of the laddu because my wife's father worked in the Central Food Technology Research Institute (CFTRI). Check करना है हाँ कर लेंगे. So they are the ones who supplied the technology for making the laddus. Automated laddu है Tirupati का. So my father-in-law had gone and he asked them for the formula. He said formula बहुत अच्छा है. They said we won't give it IPR. Lord Balaji has an IPR on that laddu. We won't give you the, and it's not for sale. That's another thing. You can't buy it from him because he's already so rich. Which is tough to roam, they say. And maybe by now already riches in the world. Okay, so that's our attention. We've already gone there. This one. In the next, once we start looking at it, it depends on where you start looking from. You can start looking from existence and then pay attention to yourself. Or you say that I exist and I can see existence inside me. So you can switch one and two. But after some time, both will rotate. Logically, either one of them can be ahead, depending on where the focus is. Yeah. You can start from anywhere. You can start from 3, then go to 2, go to 1. 3, start from 3, go to 1, then to 2. Starting with 3 is simpler. We talk of relationships and Samriddhi and Roti Beti and, Padosan and this and that, and then slowly work your way up to existence. But you finally have to reach there. We could have started this workshop with a discussion on relationships. And for most middle-aged people, that would have hit home better, more easily. But you can take either one or two. So in the next level workshop, we start from 2 and then go to 1. So yeah, you need at least the laws of 3. Directly तो नहीं समझना आता है कहाँ आता है. That's only analysis. You need the base to understand that. Base of 2 and 1, yeah. Okay. So there goes Dandeli. Sorry. So we already saw that the issue is really this lack of correct or proper understanding, what is called as Sahih Samaj. Again, these things are repeated. So we want to be in the state that where we are resolved. So this becomes basically our plan for life. This is a fundamental basic human need. As a human being, I cannot survive with this basic clarity. When I try to do it, I will have issues somewhere or the other. I mean, as a society, we cannot function properly the way we would like to. We want Vasudeva Kutumbakam, we want unitedness. It's not possible to be united without figuring out these answers first. You think it's possible to be united? No. We want to be united, but it's not possible. Because we'll be fighting. Because we have incorrect beliefs. Yeah? Or partial beliefs, partial views. So this is really our conclusion. And what does this understanding result in? It results in comprehensive resolution. So we can take a kind of slow, small view of that and come to some decision. So
Hello.
I want to be happy in myself, so I have to be resolved. Either I'm not resolved, there'll be a break. My body is comfortable. I'm not getting tasty food. I have a problem. I'm getting tasty food. Body is comfortable. I feel I have less money. I have a problem. I have more money. My neighbor has a problem with that. Now the neighbor is a problem. So if I am even resolved in one dimension, the other dimension will create some issue.
Hello.
And that problem just seems to keep shifting. Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's working. Cool. So we are now wireless. Okay. Uh, so so what does resolution look like in the intellectual and spiritual aspect? You'd ask that question. What does it seem like? What does it feel like? So this will give you a small uh, view. This is how I would like to be. Yeah. So I know what exists and why and how I came to be. So a fundamental question that I have is all. I know myself, how and why I am. I'm aware of my various faculties and internal activities. What happens inside me, I have assurance in myself. So how do I get Swayam Vishwas? How do I get assurance in myself? When I know myself. When I don't know myself, I'm unsure. Then I'm not confident about my own self. So that confidence is there, but then it shakes after some time. All right. So I also have clear and scrutinized answers to the essential questions of living. And if we have failures, then I'm able to work out why I'm failing. So, so something like you are able to remain calm even in the face of adversity, even when there are adverse situations, because you know what is right and you are kind of, settled in it. Because मेरे समझने से सब लोग तो नहीं समझ में आएगा. Just because I've achieved it doesn't mean my child or my wife or my neighbor or the people around me are going to get there. They're going to be the way they are. And that's what happens even today. You're following the rules, traffic rules, somebody else is not following. If I'm doing something right, somebody else is not doing something right. And then that is disturbing. It's not my fault. It is his fault that is disturbing me. The net result is I'm getting disturbed. And उससे उसको कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. He is continuing to do what he's doing. Yeah? And even if I yell at him, he's going to yell back. He's not going to say, sorry, sir, I broke the traffic rule. Next time I won't do it. He's probably going to come and beat you up. It's happening in Pune now. Road rage is happening in all the big cities. People are so frustrated on the road, off the road, wherever they are. People get killed in road rages now. Is that happening in Bangalore? It happened in Pune. Bombay mein ho raha hai? Pune. I mean, wrong side driving. This is the road. Somebody will be coming from the wrong side. One lady got beaten up. Usually they spare ladies. She was walking her dog on the footpath. Hello. And, somebody was coming from the opposite direction. And he honked. So she said, this is a footpath. So the argument is, he said, footpath आदमी के लिए तेरे कुत्ते के लिए नहीं है. It's not for your dog. There was a fight in Noida in Delhi. Somehow happens only in Delhi, I don't know. And this is real. Somebody got killed because he called his neighbor's dog a dog. He said a kutta. He said a kutta नहीं, इसका नाम Tommy है. He said Tommy हो गया तो क्या हो गया? फिर भी कुत्ता है. So he went and got a gun and shot him. It's in the news. I'm not making this up. Okay. I mean, it's funny, but yeah, people are getting killed. It's happening very often in Noida. I know what it is with Noida. In the lift, there'll be a dog, it'll bite somebody. There's like fights over dogs. And that's what this AI and all that do. Once you read the news article, it thinks you like this kind of article, keep showing you those articles. So I keep getting Kutta articles where Kutta bit somebody. मैं एक दो पढ़ लिया गलती से वो ही आता है वापस. So dogs are biting humans, and people are killing each other. So this is one insight. So we have answers, we have clarity, and we can face up adverse situations. Again, in the behavioral aspect, because I understand myself, I understand my relationship with other humans and the expectations that are there. So I'm able to hence resolve. I have solutions. Even if the one opposite me is making a mistake. So resolution or samadhan is a state of being. It's not a calculation. It's an understanding that I settle down into. Yeah. Okay. And the more we tread this path, and this is the stages with which we tread the path, you'll get a glimpse of resolution, you'll get a glimpse of uh, you know relationship, you will get a glimpse, and then you will have to go ahead, you'll have to get a semblance ka matlab uske jaisa, and then certitude, and then go beyond that. It's called bhas pratiti, that we covered briefly yesterday. Okay, so this is what resolution looks like in the behavioral aspect. Resolution in the material aspect with three things. One is body sensations. So it means that I'm basically able to observe and regulate sensations from the body. I'm no longer subjugated by it. नहीं तो मैं बॉडी के पीछे भाग रहा हूँ. आई एम एबल टू figure out what's needed and provide that to the body. So body is not an impediment. It's not something that I have to get rid of. It's also not something that I need to be enslaved under. And even today we are not. I mean, when you go to let's say you go to somebody's wedding and you're feeling very hungry and there is food there, you wait in the line. Sometimes people will go and try to break the line, but everybody else will stare at it. I mean, how can you not have so much of control? Or you're traveling by train and you're really hungry and you forgot to get your lunch. You don't grab the neighboring guy's lunch and start eating it. It's not done. You just wait. Even if he offers, aap khayenge, no, it's okay, I'll wait. I mean, we like to feel that we are in control of the situation. I'm not running after my hunger. At home, of course, all these rules break because then our social filters are off. We're happy to shout and saying, it's 8 o'clock, why didn't you make the dinner yet? You know I'm hungry and so on and so forth. But outside, typically we try and, try to hold ourselves from doing all that. Or जब लड़की देखने जाते, when you're going for marriage and that day you're at your best behavior. You're waiting, it doesn't matter if the tea is too cold or too sugary. We're in our best behavior when you go to see the girl. When I was getting married, Gauri and I interacted for about 3 or 4 months. I told her she has to come and attend the 7-day session. She attended the vanilla flavor of the workshop. So ये जो तीन मैंने आपको दिखाया था, the third level is the vanilla flavor, self, body, है ना? It's easy to get that. And so then she agreed. She said that we'll testing the mic. कर लीजिए. Yeah, ऑफ रखने, बैटरी जाएगी. साउंड आता है, आवाज आएगा. ऑफ रखिए. ओके. So we decided, and then she told her father, there's this guy I want to marry, but he's going to quit his job a year into marriage. So then the father said, I need to see him once. So I told my father, let's go ladki dekhne ke liye. And we took a flight because I was still working and I had to come back to work. So when we sat in the aeroplane, my father said, Dick, abhi ek hi condition hai. I said, what? He said, from today, till the time you have tied the Mangal Sutra, till the marriage is totally over, don't open your mouth. Muh mat khol. Don't say existence is like this. I'm going to quit my job. Education is wrong. Pura toot jayega. Nobody is going to give their daughter to somebody who's saying all this rubbish. You just keep your mouth shut. बड़े मुश्किल से you found one girl. She doesn't know you yet, which is a good thing. तू शादी कर ले, उसके बाद निपट. So when we went there, I was on my best behavior. I was like a good boy. I didn't open my mouth. I didn't use a PowerPoint with my father-in-law to tell him why he was born and what was the purpose of marriage. I was just sitting quietly. And the thing is, Gauri was in Bangalore. We had to go to Mysore. So we had hired a car. हमारे कार में एक सीट था. So I called her up. I said, how are you going to go? She said, by train. I said, we have a seat in our car. So हम लड़की को लेकर गए, लड़की देखने को. So when we went to the ladki's house, the ladki was already with us. She was already at the back seat. And her father is also quite eccentric. I mean, we reached there at about, 11 in the morning. And then they'd made nice lunch and all that. And her father talked about everything under the sun but the marriage. So we had to leave at 3 o'clock because we had to get back to Bangalore. We had to catch a 7 a.m. flight the next day. But about 3 o'clock, my father was still sitting, and her father was, he talks about everything under the sun. He has a lot of data. Intelligent man. And then my father said, sir, all this is fine, but we came here for something. Yeah, yeah, what, yeah. Tell me. He said, no, this marriage, I mean, yeah, let's do it. I mean, whenever you want. So there was no, my father like, whenever you want, who will decide? If you want, you decide, otherwise I'll decide. So my father said, no, you decide. Then they decided they'll do it in December because their family, most of their family is exported. They're in the US. So we had to wait till December for them to come. एक्सपोर्ट वो होता है जो वापस नहीं आता है ना, तो उसको एक्सपोर्ट बोलते हैं, नहीं तो लोन बोलते हैं. इनका सब एक्सपोर्ट हो गया, इनका भाई, चाचा, मामा, एवरीबडी वाज एक्सपोर्टेड. So we're on our best behavior. So usually in the behavioral aspect, we try to be on our best behavior. But when you're resolved, you have that clarity within, and when there is an adverse situation, you're able to see it from a distance. अभी क्या होता है? We try to do postmortem. अभी क्या करेंगे? You have to survive there. You have to survive in that relationship. So you will try postmortem. You will try and manage it somehow. And then when it goes beyond my ability to hold myself, पर्दा से बाहर चले गया, right? I can't stand it anymore. Then I said, I've had it. To hell with this guy. To hell with this relationship. You just give it back. But the problem is that usually ends up creating a larger problem now. Sometimes some relationships are such that having them is a problem, but not having them is a bigger problem. So you then have to choose between the lesser evil. Sometimes we'll become Hanuman and say, I've had it, I'm going to set fire to everybody with my tail. But then you have to then deal with the consequences. Sometimes the consequences can be very large. That happens. So this resolution in the material aspect, again, material things, we know how much is needed. So आप जो prosperity का पूछ रहे थे, that is a result of this samadhan. So samadhan will be incremental. So first increment of samadhan in prosperity with material things is seeing that I anyways have extra money. And how can I see that? We'll do a small calculation to get there through some basic understanding. So we'll do some mathematical understanding, then we'll do some qualitative. Okay, we'll get there. And also understanding my resolution with nature. Okay. Because that calculation is just a starting point. First is to see, calculate करके देखना कि कम ज़्यादा है. Then to be able to see that part of my needs are not. You have to do that again, that study. It has to move from bhas to abhas. So this is also levels of confidence going up. As we go up, the level of confidence will also go up. Yeah. That also, and we'll also have to consider some what we would call as previous impressions, which are called as Purva Sanskar. Everybody has a Purva Sanskar. Like this is the content, but not all of us are placed the same way, in this context. Not all of us are equally interested in all aspects of what I'm talking about. Some of you probably don't care for some of these aspects because you never bothered about it. It's not part of your daily life. It doesn't matter. अस्तित्व कहाँ से आया, where it came from. It doesn't matter. For those of us who've already been curious, it makes some sense. So each one of us has a past impression. That's called a Purva Sanskar. Like I observed something about myself. When I was working back, when I was in Bangalore and I quit my job, what was it, 2004? Those days I was earning about 40,000 rupees a month, which was a large sum of money, 20 years from now. Previously, okay? I mean, like, it was more than I could possibly spend, just a lot of money. And then I quit. And I traveled and I came to zero. Then I went to minus 8,000. Okay? I had about 1.5, 2 lakh rupees saved. It came to minus 8,000 because 8,000 my brother gave me. It was not a loan, he just gave it to me, but I came to minus 8,000. Then I went back to work for 50,000 a month. Finally, when I left my job in 2010, which was 13 years from now, I was earning 2 lakh a month. 13 years prior to today, which was a very large sum of money. Okay, when you're living at your parents' house, no expenses, no rent, no food expense because I'm living with father. He's getting his salary. It's enough for us to live on, right? And you're getting 2 lakh a month. What do you do with that money? And in 13 years, I have not earned a rupee a month. Zero. This is my 14th year of earning zero every month. Minus, I am eligible for unemployment payout or something from the Manrega. I am one of the, Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. I am one of the eligible members. I can show you my tax record. So zero. The only outflow, no inflow. Okay, from 13 years, my balance sheet is like this. But for some reason, and I'm not saying it's because I understood, for some reason, when I honestly assess myself, um, my feeling of having or not having money has been the same through all these ups and downs. वो जो एक feeling है ना that I have enough, वो पहले भी था. When there was 40,000, it remained when I was spending the 40,000. It remained when it became to minus 8,000. There was this data point that I have no money. ऐसा नहीं कि it had no effect on me, but it had no effect on my attitude towards things. I mean, I went back because I could see that was a practical thing to do because you need money to whatever explore and all that. So I had to go back. And so although the numbers have changed, correct? And today it's not that I'm living on thin air. The numbers have to. That's how I paid for the ticket to come here. I'll pay for the food here. So you need Gandhiji. Life cannot go on without Gandhiji. Okay, he's everywhere. But are you under him or is he by the side? That can be something. And so it's going to be a combination of our Purva Sanskar, our past impression, plus the clarity that we get from studying all both. That put together is going to give the sum. I'm only saying that because some of us may have fears in particular areas. Some people are very fearful of some kind of relationship. Some people are very fearful of money. Some people are very fearful of being alone. Some people are fearful of being with someone. We have these fears inside. And when we get into the conscious activities and faculties, maybe it'll help us understand a little more of why that happens. Okay. So that's the resolution. So that's the conclusion. There are no gaps. Yeah. So I'm able to see the larger picture of everything. I have the answers. And when we continue to be in this state, it is called resolution. It is called to be resolved in all these four dimensions. So if we could have it, would we like to have this resolution? ये जो चार, these four aspects that I put up the resolution in, a glimpse of what it could look like. Would you like to have it? Every human being. Do you think only you want it or every human being needs it? Every human being needs it. So we have four kinds of poverty in the world. You have material poverty, actually five. In the material you have two kinds. One is poverty of food, of existence. The other is poverty of money. These are two different, related but different. Then you have emotional, behavioral poverty within the family and society. You have intellectual poverty also. You also have spiritual poverty. चार पावर्टी है, एक पावर्टी नहीं है. तो बीपीएल जो होता है ना, बिलो पावर्टी लाइन, इट हैज टू बी सब क्लासिफाइड further. Then you get a real picture of what the world is like. इसीलिए the talking of all the GNP, gross national happiness, बहुत दूर है. Okay, so we want to continue. So this is Samadhan. So resolution of Samadhan is a state of being in which we have knowledge and awareness. Okay. So to restate, resolution of Samadhan is the understanding of the law behind any event or activity. The answer to every fundamental why and what. The answer means the understanding that I have. So it is a state also of being in no conflict, and ye italics mein likha hai of active living that Suraj was asking. You have to still continue to live. Can't escape that. You'll have to wash clothes, get water, boil the milk, दूध फट गया, ये सब चलेगा. Huh? Listen to wife. Tea break हो गया. So we'll also break. Let us see what happens next. So resolution is happiness and all these. It's just another we have. So this is what it looks like. What is called as bliss is called supreme knowledge. We'll get there later. But for now, we are concerning ourselves with this much. Okay, happiness, there is peace, and then there is omni. Omni का मतलब क्या पता है? All directional. मारुति क्या गाड़ी आया था? It used to be called Maruti Omni. You know why? Because it could be used for everything. लोग भी बिठा सकते हैं, दूध भी बिठा सकते हैं, गाय भी बैठ सकता है. Multi-directional. It's called multi-directional resolution. So what human beings need is, it's called sarvatomukhi samadhan in Hindi. Omnidimensional. One dimensional से नहीं चलता है. You need omnidimensional or all dimensions that I comprise of. So it's called omnidimensional. So again, this I don't need to repeat. You already know this. So what do we finally conclude with? Unhappiness is caused by problem. Samasya barabar dukh and samadhan barabar sukh. So what I need is resolution. So now we have the answer for our 2 or 3 most important questions. This is my goal for life. To study, understand, and live in all aspects of existence is equal to comprehensive understanding. This is my plan for life. Yeah, we are going to do it by the 1st of January. It is very vast, but the fundamentals are very simple. Like if I ask you how many types of species are sitting in this room, what is the answer? 1. So if you understand the human species, have you understood all of us in some way? Yeah. The fundamental. Basic anatomy of everybody sitting here. जैसे आपका शुगर लेवल आपका सब एक ही स्टैंडर्ड है सबका बीपी शुगर का कि अलग अलग है the standard is the same the body is the same so that much so you understand the fundamental the fluctuating part will be different then you have to be with that person and know so savere there is a sugar level dopair ko there is a sugar level but the essential is what we need to understand we have to understand what the essential is because that's what helps us live with that thing okay so we will see what the essential is and hopefully this should be the last slide yes I'll let you go for tea. I mean, I too want tea. So just so that when we come back, I know we've done this. So what really is the human goal? I want this intellectual resolution in me and in every me. ये जो पूरा समग्र समझ. I want material prosperity in my family and in every family. You want only your family to be prosperous or every family? Every family. Yeah. I want trust or fearlessness in society with some humans and then with every human. I don't want to be afraid of people. The problem starts when I'm afraid of people. Then I don't know what he's going to do. Okay. And I want coexistence with nature and with the entire existence. So this is the, comprehensive human goal. My individual goal and the societal goal. A resolution ke andar, if you open it, then this will open up. Understanding myself, understanding existence, understanding this. If you open that up, those 4 I am will open. You understand? It's like we are opening and we are closing. We are opening and we are closing. And then finally, we'll continue this after every packet. So we finished module 1. All right, most of module 1. These are some. Let's come back from tea. Yeah. The previous one. This one. We'll get there. Actually, mind में resolution leads to contentment. एक होता है कि मैं समझ लिया. The second is उसको जी लिया. Then I did it. So these are 2 stages. Like sitting here, I'm able to understand why my mother is the way she is. I'm able to understand that. So that gives me a samadhan. It finally helps me understand why XYZ person is the way they are. वो एक समाधान. Even why they are not good or they are good. ये समझ लेना. And then doing it leads to peace and happiness. So we will map this to some activity in ourselves. We'll have tea and come back. Okay? And Gigi.